don't believe in boxes that put you in. But life is so short that you can't waste even a day subscribing to what someone thinks you can do versus knowing what you can do. And that's like the switch. It's like the switch in your head. If you can get to a place where you can act on that in the next hour after we're done speaking, I guarantee you it's a domino.
If Jesus was on the cross, you would probably nail him. If he wept holy water, you would probably sell it. If he confided sacred teachings, you would probably tell it. Bunch of bullshit is I ain't mad, but I just smell it. Went well to the max, so unfortunate. Body well toned, looking like porcelain. She chose up, I ain't forced her hand. When we slide, it's like Santa Claus again. Paid the cost to be the boss and the cost to jam. Opportunity was lost, but I caught him again. It's a spiritual war and I'm fighting to win. Not like to pretend, I speak on pretense. Lie and be friend. I came to preach the truth to the youth, I'm tying it in. If you ride and get in, we sliding again. Man, we sliding again. Man, we sliding again. Man, we sliding again. We used to roll around with nowhere to go, like, hey man, where's the hoes? But now it ain't a drill no more. We can't grow, depending on our youth, and we still undeveloped. Walk around blind, nobody tell us. This was on the cross, you would probably nail him. If he wept holy water, you would probably sell it. If he confided sacred teachers, you would probably tell it. Bunch of bullshit is I ain't mad, but I just smell it. Instead of getting even, man, I'm compelling. And we sliding again. And we sliding again. And we sliding again. And we sliding again. And we sliding again.
You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic.
You are now tapped in with Hood in the Morning.
Let's try this again now. Give me a thumbs up or one in the chat if you can hear me all right. Had to call my IT team, make sure that this shit was working. Can y'all hear me? Yes or no? Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. You can hear me. Cool. So, yes, as I was saying, pull your pennies down a little bit, unbuckle your work blazers. Shout out to everybody working from home with the tie, suit jacket, boxer briefs, socks, and flip-flops is your work uniform. Shout out to you. Shout out to the truck drivers. Shout out to the stay-at-home moms taking their children on a field trip to Legoland. Shout out to the niggas that's in jail because they baby mama put them on child support and they can't afford it. So now they got to do a 30-day sentence. Hopefully this live stream can carry through your sentence. The Hood Mystic, representing hoodmystic.com, Colombian Exchange, and whiterabbitpsych.com. Learn to listen different and reveal your mind. Got a couple of things I want to talk about with y'all this morning. I took notes. We're going to do this Hood in the Morning where I have like little segments, little things for which I want to talk about, and then I'm going to open the line up for callers. So if y'all want to get readings, or if y'all want to ask me questions, or y'all want to show me y'all thongs, y'all can do so via the Zoom chat. The last time I did this, I stopped for a very long time because I was doing a live and this girl was masturbating in the bathtub while she was talking to me. And that kind of threw me off. And I'm saying all of that to say I'm open for that today. I'm down for that today. Back then, they didn't know me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. So peace to y'all. Really happy y'all can join me this morning, and every morning that I can put a show together. I can't promise y'all I'll be able to do this every morning, but it's been a long time coming, moving into our own space. And the goal is to really just put out content and further our businesses, Colombian Exchange, White Rabbit Psych, and develop those things. And, you know, I like to talk and do what I do. Yeah, it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a funky, I don't know what you call this, Hood in the Morning to step to, but we bike, like they say down in Florida. I woke up this morning with the word integrity on my heart. And whenever I get words that are placed upon my heart, the first thing I do is look up the etymology of the word to get a greater sense of the word. And because I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, I can look at things from that scope, right? So follow me if you would. I wake up, integrity is on my heart, integrity is on my spirit, integrity is on my voice. Just to let you know, integrity is the energy that you show when people are not looking. So I must say that I'm a low down dirty piece of shit. I don't want y'all to think nothing else otherwise than that, because if y'all think that I'm holier than thou, I don't know, I might be at your girlfriend in her DMs or something, and you like, damn, Hood, I thought better of you. That's your fault. I think people think that life is supposed to be where they praise you and they, you know, say you're a great person, and deep down inside, you know that you're a piece of shit. And so you're really seeking somebody to look at you for a person that you're not. And I'm not saying that I'm the worst person, but at the end of the day, I do have my flaws. But the idea is to better yourself, because the person that is always looking at you is your soul. And that's what I mean by looking at this from a spiritual perspective, integrity, right? Because imagine certain things like, I'm alone, I'm single, I don't have anybody. Well, that's a level of a lack of integrity, and it's a lack of awareness, because you're not even looking at yourself as a whole being, because a whole being is never alone. A whole being is always, somebody is always there, whether it's an ancestor, whether it's a guide, whether it's your soul. But the whole spiritual paradigm, it could be a spirit. I mean, some of y'all live in houses, y'all got ghosts. You know, if you live in a house, you have an apartment, and you're not privy to the energy of ghosts, then you probably have an energy that is like poor mental health, right? Poor emotional understanding. because you lack awareness of the spiritual dimension. And, you know, my wife woke up this morning like, you know, I'm finally understanding what you said. It's funny, you know, because I can say it over and over again. I remember we went and got an Airbnb, a lake house Airbnb. And I was just like, like I could just see the spiritual world, man. I was talking to her about it. And I'm just like, yeah, because at that point in time, we were under the influence of some intense psychedelics. And I was sitting by this lake and I was able to, you know, perceive the cosmos. And like, it's a weird thing, y'all, because the reality is like the spiritual world is literally right on top of you right now, right? You cannot perceive it with your physical eyes and your physical senses, right? Your grandmother's with you right now. Your sister's with you right now. Your cousin with you right now, you know? But if we don't see them with our physical eyes, we then fall into the energy of mental instability, right? In relationships and career and partnerships and just regular day activities, friendships. You can't even hold a friendship down because you lack integrity. What is integrity? Integrity, think about a piece of wood. You know, how does a wood carry integrity? Well, if I step on this wood, will it break? Will it fold? You with me? Now, a piece of wood that has integrity, that wood is not going to fold. But when the wood lacks integrity, you step on it and it breaks, right? And so this is mental instability when we cannot really handle the truth, right? We can't handle the realness of a person because they're like, well, I want you to be honest. I want you to tell me the truth. And then you ready to fight somebody. You angry at somebody. You having long drawn out conversations with the person that you said that you loved. And this is all because we are fractured, right? Because you get integrity, which is stemming from the word integer. An integer represents a whole number as opposed to a fraction. So I'm telling, like, I just use my wife as example, right? I can get on this platform, you know, all the time. I can talk all the time about the spiritual world because I built up a perception, right? You know, it's a lot of niggas that got a lot of money, you know. At one point, you know, I held the Guinness. You know, I'm not proud of this Guinness Book of World Record because I never tell y'all, but I'm going to tell y'all now. I held the record for brokest man in the universe. No cap. I held the record. I was persona non grata, brokest person ever at one point in time. Right. And that's just a normal reaction to being fractured. Right. Out of love, out of sync, outside of my purpose. And I could sit here and talk about this ad nauseum with people. The reason why I do that, it's a method to the madness. It's a method to the repetition because you have to get it. Right. You have to understand this. You have to understand that you are a whole being. You are not just a human. And the spiritual world is part of you as a human. As a human, you are a part of the spiritual world. You are the greater part of the spiritual world. If you can understand it, if it can sink in, right? And like say it and say it and say it and say it, you literally have to become whole and perfect. Because integrity is a whole and perfect condition. So, talking to people in relationships with people, they try their best to impress you and say everything for which that they are not, right? Can't trust what nobody tells you, right? Why can't you trust what nobody tells you? Because the proof is in the pudding. What they're doing, right? Somebody says they love you, right? When they're in front of you, but when they're not in front of you, they don't even, they love themselves, right? They're not holding themselves to that same energy. So that's integrity in a relationship, integrity in a partnership, integrity in your spiritual journey, right? Forgetting your soul. Very powerful message that I woke up with, and I won't bore y'all any longer, but let's get into the section that I like to call Random Oracle, just to get us loosened up and softened up and do a live collective reading. Fresh off my deck, you can see me doing a live shuffle. I'm gonna pull from 2 decks, and the purpose of the Random Oracle is that the universe operates in a random oracular fashion. And the moment that you think it don't, that's when your car break down. That's when your girl start cheating on you, right? That's when the job that you thought you was going to work forever, you start filling out a application for new positions, because life is random. Life is a random set of probabilities. So as a spiritualist, it's very important to have your own set of divination system. Now, me and my relationship with cards starts in prison. Me and my bunkie, we created a divination system with playing cards. And our divination system was as follows. Simple, but it was accurate. And this is why we always used it. And this is how we got like snacks and goodies and commissary, because we was like in our pod, we were like the pod oracles, but we didn't do advanced like tarot readings or nothing like that. We just did yes or no questions, and it was either odds or evens. And the odds would be yes, and the evens would be no. If you got a face card, it meant pull again. If you got an ace, it meant pull again until you got an even or an odd card, and that would be your divination. So, my ability to divinate has progressed since then, but yeah, having a system of random pulling or, cowrie shells, things of that nature, astrology, whatever you use, make sure you use it, because it can't be a fixed system. It has to be a completely random and probable system so you can get some form of gnosis. So the first card we got is Art, or the Art of Alchemy. This card is ruled by Sagittarius. And the next card we got is Judgment. So I'm pulling 2 major arcana cards representing major energy, right? And for a lack of a better words, and judgment could be relative to the judgment that we have on ourselves, right? But then another understanding is, where does that judgment come from, right? Why do you feel so bad for the things that you do, and it's people in the world doing 10 times worse shit that you're doing with no remorse, right? Why do you wake up and take care of your kids, right, and feel bad because you can't provide for your kids the way that you want to, right? But then there's some parents who don't give a fuck about their kids, right? As we'll see a little later, right? Shout out to my parents, right? To the parents that are trying, putting effort into raising your children, and nobody does this perfectly, right? congratulations. I just want to say that, I want to say that I love you. I want to say that I support you. I want to let you know that I understand that it's not easy, but I also need you to stop judging yourself and putting yourself down for putting forth the effort. Because as you will see a little later, it's some niggas that don't give a fuck about their children. And for your heart, for your integrity, for your love, right? Man, congratulations is all I can say. And depending on how clean that vagina is, you might can get some head, right? Cause a good mom deserves some head, right? From time to time, and fellas, do your job, right? Ladies, do your job. We all need to give these ladies some head, right? And I'm dead ass serious, right? We need to appreciate the love that parents have for their children in a world that has gotten so cold and so callous and so unremorseful. And there's so many lost children who don't have the love of their father, the love of their mother, because they just simply don't give a fuck. For the parents that actually try and put effort towards our children, we need some type of fucking reward system. We need some type of head type of system, right? You deserve a little bit of head for taking care of those kids, okay? That's on me. Okay, alchemy. Taking the good with the bad, right? Let's flip this, right? If you were in a situation where you had a perfect husband or a perfect wife, you had a picket fence and you had well-to-do kids, you would still have some negative energy that you would have to alchemize. Whatever situation you are, you're going to have to learn how to take the bad with the bad and the good with the good. There is no perfect situation. There is no perfect person. There is no perfect outcome. There is only what you are coded with. And the reality is, are you following your DNA code? Bottom of the deck, the fool. Are you following your DNA code? Or are you not following your DNA code? If you look at the word random, you get R-A-N-D, right? But flip that backwards, don't y'all see DNA? But what is it else? It's RNA and it's DNA, right? So within the random oracle, and when you're in the spirit verse, things really make sense for you. And I know like a lot of people want to be outside of the spirit verse, but eventually y'all all will be here. So I'm going to pull one last card out of each deck. Got the 4 disc. 4 discs representing stability. 4 discs representing power. 4 discs representing balancing all 4 elements. So that ties into the alchemy card where you're taking the good with the good and the bad with the bad. You're not trying to strive for perfection or no weird shit like that. Right? Because at the end of the day, I like stretch marks. I mean, I'm willing to take anything on as long as it's clean. As long as the hygiene is together and you walk by me and I smell oil and I smell fresh vinegar. If you smell good, I'm taking that ass down. You understand? So once again, we talking about crossing thresholds and going into fear-like spaces and new beginnings. And that's the card of the moon. Even deeper, when it comes to taking something down, you can see the portal. If you flip this card upside down, it's a vagina. A vagina. But anyways, yeah, so I like these 2 cards together, the 4 discs and the moon. Because a lot of times people want to make moves and a lot of times people want to make changes, right? People like, oh, I need to make a change. I need to make a change, right? And then it's like, well, I don't know if I should make a change or not. I'm not really sure. Well, that's just because you on bullshit. Anybody who really want to make a change, you make a change through having a stable foundation. And from that stable foundation, you make a change, because when you go to that new situation, you want to bring stability into it. The problem with whole type of people is like they be hoes in their neighborhood, right? And they be like, my reputation too bad in this neighborhood. Let me get out this neighborhood, right? Once they get out that neighborhood, go to a new neighborhood, they still the same thing happens. So with all that being said, find your peace where you at, because when you find your peace where you at, that's going to lead you. That's going to give you the energy, or give you the wherewithal, or the positive stimulus as you grow and as you glow, right? As you move on, you're going to have the stability within yourself as you move through the shit. And that's really the key. Don't run from your problems. Solve your problems, right? Deal with this shit. Because the more that you deal with this shit, the easier it'll be. So I'm tired of being deep. I feel like it's time for me to get ratchet. So if y'all ready to get ratchet, if y'all not ready to get ratchet, this is the time to leave the video. But if you ready to get ratchet, if you ready to get into some major cringe, this is the time. So let's get cringy. Let's get ratchet. So yes, this video, all of these videos that go viral, I always see them before they go viral. And Spirit be like, you could speak on this shit. Like, ain't nobody going to strike you down. You ain't holier than thou. If this shit intrigues you to speak on it, then just speak on it. So I'm like, okay. Because I'll be wondering, like, I be thinking, like, people going to feel a certain type of way. And I be just like, But at the end of the day, man, I got to be honest with y'all. I'm like 90% ratchet. Only 10% of me is, like, spiritual. That's the truth of the matter. I do a lot of ratchet things with my ratchet friends. And I can't act like I don't understand what be being said. And even deeper, let me try to find my notes. I've been talking about this shit for a long time. I've been talking about this shit for a long time. And what I've been discussing is how these men that y'all be so in love with, that y'all be having these relationships with, they really don't give a fuck about y'all. They don't care about y'all. They don't care about the children. So I don't care who you love, right? Because as much as I'm doing this work, and I've been doing this work full time since 2017. What's that? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That's 7 years. My math is not even right. So that could be 7, that could be 6 years, but that's some years. And now the times where I had to do synastry readings, it was because the woman literally grabbed and probably said, you ain't gonna get no pussy tonight if you don't do this reading with me or something, right? Put a gun to his head. But more than likely, I'm talking to women, and women are either telling me about the man that's cheating on them, or the man that's not active and present along their spiritual journey. They're from some existential reason. And I'm always the type of person that's like, yo, if y'all gonna be in relationships and y'all gonna be spiritual, then your relationship has to be an integral part of your spiritual journey, or else it's going to be some crash dummy shit. So I want to watch this video, and I want to use it as a way, because this is the first video of a man. And when I'm telling you, when I'm dealing with my friends, like growing up with friends and just being around men in general, this is how they think, right? This is how they operate. And the reality of it, you know, my mom, you know, didn't just throw me in the fucking trash can, right? Because my daddy wasn't there. So I'm bear witness and living proof that, you know, if you love a child, they can amount to something, right? They can develop into something. But, you know, shit, it's a lot of children that did not have a dad. And I'm smart. I'm resourceful. I'm strong. I'm intelligent. I'm spiritual. I got a lot of good qualities about myself that save myself from myself, right? But there's a lot of men like me that's not nowhere near as strong as I am mentally, physically, and they can't handle the fact that they did not have a dad growing up. It completely breaks them and shatters them, and they cannot no longer develop into the man that they need to be, into the woman that they need to be, because their father was not there. And I also see women choose men based upon the facts that they like this nigga so much. I like him. Why you with him? I like him. Why you with him? He was in my DMs. He was persistent. Why you with him? I met him going out. And these are the type of niggas that only care up until the point that they orgasm or nut. And past that point, they do not give a fuck. You may love him, but he don't love you. He never loved you, and he ain't never going to love you, because ain't no love in him. And I need y'all to be very careful out here talking about how much you like a guy, right? I'd rather hear how much you have stalked him in his life. You know about his third grade teacher, right? I'd rather you stalk a man than like a man. I'd rather you respect a man than like a man. I'd rather you get to know a man than simply just have your hormones make the decisions for you, because the result of having sex with niggas like this is life. A whole life that is not being nurtured and cared for by an adult on a daily basis, which is necessary for him or her. So many times, let's just get into the video.
I got 7 kids and 7 baby mamas. Now, for the past few days, I've been going live, telling my story, speaking my...
It's 2023, and mans get on TikTok. A black man gets on TikTok. Okay, Kaya. We hear you. Mans get on the internet in 2023 and proudly states that he has 7 kids and 7 baby mamas, but it gets worse.
Truth. And a lot of women having an issue calling me a deadbeat, because I tell them I was being irresponsible, yet not wearing protection. But I always tell these women that I got pregnant that I do not want to be a father to these children. And I offer to pay for the abortion. Majority of the
I need y'all to be clear. This is a generational thing. because your actions represent what you need to respond to, not your words, right? So if I'm walking down the street and for some reason I punch somebody in the face, but I ain't mean to punch him in the face, but I was the one who punched him in the face, I can't then have a conversation and have a rhetoric as to why that's not my responsibility. No, the reality of the situation is whether you like the women, whether you hate the woman, whether you love her, whether you can't stand her, whether her breath stank, whether her booty stank, whether she got green toe jam in the middle of her feet. That does not matter once she get pregnant. It's now your responsibility. Energetically, spiritually. You want to know the reason why I'm saying that? Because if it wasn't his energetic responsibility, he wouldn't be going viral for it and he wouldn't be talking about it. Because we don't talk about the things that we are not responsible for. You understand? Y'all get that? If I'm not responsible for something, I don't even have a cognition to speak about it. How does he even know he has 7 kids if he doesn't feel energetically and spiritually responsible for it?
Sometimes they'll either take the abortion or they'll take a plan B. But only these 7 have kept these children. But the crazy thing about it is they want me to be responsible for some children I told them I did not want. So for some years now, some of them been trying to get in contact with me, access denied, because I don't really know why you trying to get in contact with me.
Because your DNA is alive, right? Your DNA is alive and it is communicating to you spiritually. And the DNA is speaking to the mother in a sense of, where is my dad? Where am I at? Where am I? Dads represent Saturn. Saturn represents grounded, being grounded in the reality. So without your father, you are not grounded in the reality. So you cannot forego that responsibility if you put forth the Martian action, which Mars represents the phallus, right? Within Scorpio, Mars rules Scorpio. I'm talking astrology, but I'm talking real. Hopefully you can follow it. Because once you lay claim to that territory, you are then responsible. Because if you wasn't responsible, you wouldn't even have a conversation and be so oracular and have such a expanded rhetoric for something that you're not responsible for. That's just impossible. So everything is happening under the surface. But at this level, it's like a nigga can't even understand.
Told you I did not want them kids. So don't expect me to be responsible financially, emotional, spiritually, mentally, or physically with some kids I do not want. And I don't give a fuck what nobody think about it. You're not going to force children up on me. Yeah, we both made the decision to lay down and have intercourse. We both was irresponsible about the decisions we made that night. Yeah, I could have pulled out, but I didn't. And I ain't care to pull out because I'm not the one that's going to have to carry a baby for 9 months.
And this is the thing, right? This is the part of the video where I'm asking myself, where is the love, right? If I'm in a relationship and I'm loving myself and I'm gentle and I'm patient, I'm kind, I'm putting forth the effort of loving somebody, then, you know what women tell me? Oh, you too nice. You too sweet. You too kind, right? But You will have somebody that's very intelligent, very handsome, very sexy, but hates you. And that's what you'll go for. Maybe so you could keep the narrative that men aren't shit. But I'm telling you, it's a certain type of energy of a man that wants to fuck and a woman that wants to fuck that is breeded and rooted in hate, rooted in anger, rooted in animosity, as you will soon see.
It's the woman. In my opinion, women should be more careful on who they sleep with. Because you're going to be like, one of my baby mamas trying to find me so I can financially support a kid I done told her or them I did not want. Another thing is, these just jump offs. These the type of women that I ain't even had to do nothing for. The bare minimum, but they gave me access to their body and they think I want to be a father to a child for one of them? Like, I don't even have no type of love for these women. How do they expect me to love these children?
That's the part right there. How does a man who have no love for you able to have sex with you? That is, to me, I'm sitting back like, damn. And a child. Damn. Because the reality is, I know that in a woman's mind, she's using a child as bait, as manipulation. And that nigga don't give a fuck. And I'm always tell young ladies, I'm always tell young women, don't ever have sex with a man and think for 1 second that you won. That man has won. He has conquered and he has gotten what he wanted.
Before y'all say, oh, he irresponsible, he a deadbeat, he don't take accountability. Yeah, I do. I just don't give a fuck. You ain't gonna force these children on me when I told you I ain't want them. Yeah, I can offer to pay for abortion, but at what point can I force a woman to go get an abortion? I cannot. A woman say, my body, my choice, but I say, it's my life, my choice. Before y'all try to stitch this shit and be like, black man this, black man that, I don't give a fuck. I really don't.
Now, I'm not necessarily bashing or talking bad. I'm doing this more of like an example of the type of dudes that I've always seen have multiple females, right? It's dudes, like you could just be chilling, right? And you might have your girl, right? You have your girl. And then it's some dudes, I'm gonna tell y'all, it's some dudes, they got about 10, 20 chicks on a rotation, not satisfied, right? But then they got all of these chicks on rotation. They going out on a Friday night with like blind, like they fresh, you know, they're not even, they're just thinking about conquering and getting more women and these, and it's like a woman could be looking for love or looking for a relationship and maybe she is looking for sex, but generally I think that women, from my experience, think that sex is a form of like manipulation and bringing the man in and drawing the man in, and that's not it. The reality of relationships is that sex needs to be completely off the table for a period of time to even see if the relationship can stand on its own 2 feet. So developing mental and emotional boundaries, and of course physical boundaries, and getting to know a person. My best advice for young women is to stalk. Like, have a guy that you like and get to know him without him knowing that you're getting to know him. Because in that space, you're not getting your feelings hurt and putting your feelings before. So many times, right? So many times women have loved me, like loved me. Yeah, and I know they didn't know shit about me. And the more they got to know me, the less they love me. So I think that's a trait that should be identified. Stop chasing the emotional highs and learn how to build the mental bridges. And from there, things, even if you don't get a romantic relationship, at least you have strong foundational skills to help you balance how to deal with people that are not like you and are not a part of your friend group or social circle. So let's deal with some phases. Today is March 7th, 2023. We are going through a full moon in sidereal Leo. The sun is in the last decan of sidereal Aquarius. And so the energies that these planets highlight is the energy of seven. So you have the Seven of Wands and you have the Seven of Swords. And so this is very much of a projected moon. This is very much of a moving forward, what am I going to do moon? And I want to interject something that I've talked about previously, but I want to reiterate it because I think it's a very important concept. And that concept is, what is your set point? Right? You see yourself today, right? What are you today? Who are you today? Now, what are you going to be tomorrow? Right? What are you going to be a year from now? What are you going to be months from now? And these are very, 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 very important things. So if you do not have a set point, then you're either going to be regressing or you're going to stay the same. And the reality of life is that nobody stays the same. But part of this energy is to understand your boundaries, understand your limits, not to hold you back. Because we're dealing with Aquarius and we're dealing with Leo. This is so you can go beyond them, right? Go beyond them. Because once again, when you identify a limit, that's imaginary. You invented that limit. There are no mental limits. There are no limits when it comes to love, right? But I think the energy now of identifying specific limits helps you become a little bit more aware by being honest with yourself, right? Being so honest with yourself that you begin to identify what you want. And when I say be honest with yourself, that ties back into integrity. If you just sit on your ass every day, or if you're a nymphomaniac, or if you addicted to porn, or you addicted to drugs, or you know the type of person that you are, you're not really about the stuff, then you're not being actually honest with yourself, or you're in a toxic relationship, or you're in a stagnated position. These are the things that you need to become honest with. Because once you identify, like, okay, this relationship is not working for me. This job is not doing it for me. I thought it would, but it's not. Now that is a limit, but it's not a real limit. You say you can perceive like this job is not for me. Now I'm going to go beyond this job, right? Now I'm going to set my sets higher, set my sights lower, because this is too much work for me, or whatever the case may be. But this is a time to reevaluate. It's a time to really program and set, like, okay, this is who I am and this is what I want to be from a spiritual level. And then the energy then pushes you on the instructions on how to get there due to the nakshatra. The nakshatra of this full moon is Purva Falguni. Purva Falguni is ruled by Bhaga It's in the third decan of Leo, which this full moon is ruled by, and it's also ruled by Venus. So it's kind of confusing, right? Because if you look at the activities associated with the nakshatra, wars and battles, violent activities, meat selling, swindling, cheating, works related to weapons and poisons. And then the next sentence, it says that it's ruled by Venus. Then that's kind of confusing unless you are into Robert Greene's books, where he deals a lot with war and seduction. And he goes as much to say, like, you can look up the etymology of seduction, and it's a wartime act, right? So understanding, and then it also says, like, politicians, entrepreneurs, people are in the public eye, they have to seduce people. So it can even go further into your business, right? Or your career, where a level of seduction is at play. A level of beauty is at play to pull people in, right? And if you're a business, you're not the only business like that, right? You might even start it like that, but if it was a good idea, people have already copied you, right? People, when I started Columbian Exchange, I had people that I thought was like friends and shit like that. I didn't even realize, they was straight up stealing my ideas and then doing it on their own. And I'm the type of person that'd be like, let's work together, let's partner up, but everybody ain't like me, you feel me? So that is more in the realms of this nakshatra, where you can have a great idea and people will steal it. So you got to really understand life, not like how you want it to be, but how life is. If you have a great idea, people are going to steal it before they congratulate you for it, right? That's how life is, right? This is why people sign non-disclosure agreements, right? If life wasn't fucked up, it wouldn't be a such thing as non-disclosure agreements. There wouldn't be a such thing as patents. It wouldn't be a such thing as copyrights. It wouldn't be a such thing as trademarks if everything was on the up and up. So sometimes spiritual beings and spiritual communities, we forget the parameters or the boundaries of life, and we just, oh, this is my spiritual sister, this is my spiritual brother. And those are the people that steal from you, and they can steal from you. We're dealing with Aquarius, and we're dealing with Leo. So what are they stealing? They're stealing your intellectual property, or they're stealing your lover. So you could have a friend, right? And she's not really your friend. She's just there to fuck your man. This is the spirit of that. This is the season of that. You can have a homeboy, right? He's not your homeboy. He's just plotting on your girl. He loved the way your girl look. You know what I'm saying? He in love with your girl. Hey, bro, I'm about to come over. You trying to get wax on that 2K type of energy. So this is why this energy is ruled by Venus, right? The planet of beauty, the planet that is usually attractive with a sway and influence, right? This is all about seduction. And it's all about getting what you want, because the reality of a relationship is that both people are in it and they're happy, right? So if somebody cheated on you, you could be like, I'm mad they cheated on you, right? But when they was cheating on you, them niggas was happy, moaning and groaning and screaming and scratching and talking about this pussy is mine and all types of shit. And that got you mad, right? But the nature of it was Venus, right? It was seduction, it was beauty, it was attraction, which no doubt ends into a war and a battle. So if people steal your intellectual property, if people steal your relationship, that undoubtedly leads to wars and battles. And I would say nobody is going to fight more over their girl than, like, women is the number one thing that people fight over. So just to understand the energy a little bit more, when you have something of value, the reason why you would never walk down, the worst neighborhood in your city and tell them, I got $1,000 in my pocket. I got $1,000 in my pocket. I got $1,000 in my pocket. Sooner or later, somebody gonna rob you. Sooner or later, somebody gonna be like, oh yeah, let me take that. You ain't never met nobody in your life that was walking around telling people how much money they had. Because within that, and the people surrounding you, they'll figure out a way to take, people got business managers and accountants. Accountants go to jail every day for stealing somebody money. The same people you thought was going to protect and value your money, then they stealing it. So when you have something of value, you have to learn how to protect it. And that's the way of the world. Y'all already know that. Y'all already know that because y'all never going around telling people how much money you got. But even when you saying it, it's hard to put it. It's hard for me to rationalize a positive energy and having a negative nature on top of it. Only when I look at the world and having a deep understanding of how this stuff works. That's real power. That's real luck, right? So a person can be very, very rich. A person can be very, very wealthy if he knows how to protect it, right? If I knew how to protect my business at the end of the day, I would have realized the idea that I had and realized how thirsty people was. And I might have just, would have just peeped shit and called shit out. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I didn't understand the nature of the universe. But now I do. So another thing that I want to, tap into is that the energy of Bahaga. I love talking about this energy every year that it shows up because this energy is very powerful. This energy is very true. If you are struggling with finances, if you are struggling with the idea of not having enough, this is the time and place to tap into the energy of Bahaga, the Vedic god of fortune and prosperity. Bahaga is known as the giver because he bestows not just worldly wealth and security, but spiritual abundance and devotion as well. And this is very true, right? This is very, very true. Working with this energy, meditating with this energy, it could definitely free you from any type of bonding or bondage that you're dealing with financially, right? So hopefully, y'all will take the time to tap into this full moon energy by just being reflective, being receptive. I will always stress, do not do full moon rituals because that's like planting a seed once all of the flowers have blossomed, right? At a certain point, you got to understand the natural process of life, right? And this is a process of observation. This is a process of manifestation. So if you haven't got what you wanted, this is a time to release. Why is releasing important? Because releasing allows you to create space for more of what you want. So with that being said, man, this was an episode of Hood in the Morning. Still trying to get the kinks out with my technical side. But like I said, I can't promise every morning, but I will do this more often. Now that I got my own space to, be free. So be on the lookout for more content from me. Be sure to join the Patreon. Be sure to join the Substack as we get the ball rolling, with the content, and we'll get the ball rolling with just everything, man. So much has been going on with me personally, that I really do appreciate you guys for tapping in with me. And when I say personal things, you know, I guess good and bad, but at the same time, everything is all good. Because, you know, the reality of being whole is a very good thing. Oh, before I hop out of this joint, be sure to check out ColumbianExchange.com and get my latest and greatest book of literature, The Spiritual Being, Having a Human Experience. Check out WhiteRabbitPsych.com. Of course, we got a new product dropping very soon. My wife had already made them. I think she just more or less moving into the packaging phase. So once she does that, we'll let you guys know what that new product is. I'm very excited about it. But thank you guys for all of your support. And you guys are the reason that I show up, because the support is real. The love is real. And yeah, man, maybe because I was going to do readings, but the technical difficulties earlier made me disjoint my setup. So maybe that was why I couldn't get no sound earlier. Whatever the case may be, I have to do more technical troubleshooting to figure that aspect out. But on the later spirit verses, we will have some live readings, or maybe I'll just do a video where we just do nothing but live readings. Maybe that'll be the way that works out. But either way, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and enjoy your day. You know, make sure your day is filled with integral actions, right? Your soul is always watching you. Peace.
You are now tapped in with the Holy Mystic.
You are now tapped in with Hood in the Morning.
waking up the masses.
When you wake up in the morning,
It's your baby mama's favorite astrologer.
like, can I get 5 more minutes?
Scrape that crust off that third eye and tap in with Hood in the morning. From Atlantis to Egypt, you are now tapped in with the realest nigga on the internet, the Hood Mystic. The Hood Mystic.